let's take a look at how to give commands in Spanish using reflexive verbs. And remember, in Spanish, reflexive verbs end in se, okay? S-E. And let's look at positive and negative to commands, so our informal commands, and positive and negative usted commands, okay? So our formal commands. And let's start off with our first verb, Ducharse, okay? Now we're going to give a positive and negative to command. So let's say you have a friend and your friend hasn't taken a shower in a long time, and so this green smelly odor is coming from his or her body and you do not like it, and so you're going to say take a shower, okay? And so that's a positive to command. And so if we look at our verb ducharse, it ends in se and it's an AR verb, okay? So to write the positive to command using ducharse, we start off with our stem, duch, and now we're going to change this AR to an A, and we're going to change this SE to the reflexive pronoun te, okay? And the last thing we have to include is a written accent. And the written accent is going to go over the third vowel or syllable from the end, okay? So if we look at duchate, here's our first vowel, here's our second vowel, and our third vowel is the U, and so we say duchate, take a shower. Now, let's say you like this smell over here for whatever reason, okay? It makes you happy. You're going to say don't take a shower because you like it, okay? So we're going to start off with no, and this te is now going to go in front. So no te, and now we write our stem, duch, and then we add our negative to command ending, s. Okay, so now it says no te duches. Now let's write another reflexive verb over here. And we'll write the verb peinarse, to comb one's hair. And this verb here is an exception, and I'll explain in a second, okay? So let's give a positive and a negative to command, okay? So let's say you have a friend over here, and your friend has some crazy hair. Really crazy hair. Maybe it goes over here, maybe it comes down here. I don't know. There's crazy hair, but your friend is happy, okay? And you are not happy with this hairdo because it is crazy. And so you're going to say, comb your hair. Comb your hair is a positive to command. So if we look at our verb peinarse, it ends in se, and it's an AR verb. So the first thing we do is start off with our stem, pein, and now this AR is going to become an A, and this SE is going to become the reflexive pronoun te, okay? And now we have to write our written accent. So here's our first vowel, here's our second vowel, and here's our third vowel. In Spanish, when we have an E and an I next to each other, the E is the stronger vowel, so we have to write our written accent over the E. That is why this verb peinarse is an exception, because it doesn't follow this rule, okay? So, peinate. Now, maybe you like this hairdo over here, and so we're going to say, don't comb your hair because you're a good friend and you like your friend's hairdo. So we're going to say, no, okay? Make sure you say no, otherwise it's not a negative command, okay? So, no. And now we're going to put the te in front, te, And now we're going to write our stem, Pein, and now we add our -2 command ending, S. Okay, so no te peines. Now let's look at one verb over here for our positive and negative usted command. Okay, and let's look at the verb divertirse, to have a good time. Okay, so maybe let's see. Here's Illinois, and right there is Chicago, and you find out that your friend is going to Cancun, Mexico for spring break, and you can't go because you don't have any money, but you're a good friend, and so you're gonna say have a good time to your friend. Okay, so have a good time is a command, and so if we look at our verb up here, it ends in SE. It's an IR verb, and one thing we have to take into account is this E here changes to IE. Okay, so it's a stem changing verb. So the first thing we do is start off with our stem, and now this IR is going to change to an A, and this SE is going to stay SE because it's the reflexive pronoun for él, ella, and usted. And the last thing we have to do is write our written accent. So here's our first vowel, second, and our third vowel. And so we're going to write the accent over the E. Diviértase. Okay? And now let's make this negative. Okay, so we're going to say no. Okay? Maybe you're upset because your friend is going to Cancun. Okay, so you're a little jealous. You're going to say don't have a good time. Okay? And if you say that, you probably won't be friends anymore. But let's just say you say don't have a good time. So we're going to start off with no. And now we're going to put our se in front. And then we're going to write our stem. And finally, we're going to add our ending, okay? Which is A. So no se divierta. Take a look at the commands using reflexive verbs. And if you have any questions, let me know. Hasta luego.